Hey, I hope you're having a great week. Hi, I'm Dave and I help business leaders use technology more effectively. Sometimes though, we try and look for a technical solution when actually what we need is a non-technical solution. So this week we're going to explore some of these problems. And the first thing I want to explore is communication, and specifically telephone calls. Everyone likes getting telephone calls, interrupting their day, stopping them doing the work they're supposed to be doing. So in your business, what are you doing to monitor and manage telephone calls? What are you making sure? Are you making sure that sales opportunities are answered quickly, customer inquiries are answered quickly, or are the calls interrupting your work and making your team less efficient? So what we want to do first of all is start getting some stats together. We want to know how many calls you're getting each day, how quickly they are answered, what are these phone calls about, and most importantly, is there a more efficient way for you, for your business and for your customers of dealing with these phone calls? A lot of younger people have a very different attitude to older people about how phones should be used. They'll see phones as the last resort, where older people, they'll default to using the phones. That's a very gross generalisation, but I think it generally holds up. So what happens is you end up with essentially two different types of customers, one of which will call about anything and the other which will never pick up the phone. And your staff, you'll probably find they do the same thing. The younger people will not phone people and the older people will ring people. What that means is that often we're kind of left in this position where there's this clash. When it comes to answering calls, what I want to do is make sure that they're effective and they're not interrupting our day. Mutual interruption shields are good, so schedule different people to answer the phones. Some people have IVRs, it says press 1 for this, press 2 for that. Now, in the next 6 to 12 months, we're going to see AI being able to answer calls, and that's going to be really interesting. Is that what people want? Probably not, but it could make a lot of businesses, especially utility companies, way more efficient, because they've got these rooms and rooms and rooms full of people answering the phone, speaking to people, and a lot of these inquiries are quite generic and can easily be done by a computer. I think what the mistake is, people often put technology solutions in, like the IVR, the interactive voice response thing, in order to reduce the number of calls that they've got coming in or make it so they go to different teams. But actually, there's probably more effective ways of doing it. For example, if you're getting a lot of pointless phone calls for stuff people you do not want to speak to that are selling stuff, that are scams, simply having an IVR that says press 1 for this, press 2 for that can eliminate some of those calls. But also you could have different phone numbers for different parts of the group. So if you could have a different number for accounts and encourage people to ring that number, that saves them going through the press 1 for this, press 2 for that. But that can lead to a different problem where people ring the wrong person, because you don't want to be transferring calls within your team. That's a waste of time. I know these things are all really obvious, but I think it's really worthwhile just once every 6 to 12 months, spending some time looking at all these phone calls, having listened into some of them, and figuring out, why are these people calling you? Is this a useful use of your team's time? Because if you're just wasting time, that time could be used more productively. Or alternatively, if customers are getting frustrated because you're not answering the phones, what systems could you put in place? If people are asking the same questions all the time, you could put information on your website. You could give people, when they ring up, the option to listen to some messages. But you certainly don't want to be in the situation where some companies are, when you ring up and it just goes waffles on for ages about how brilliant they are. It's extremely frustrating. Most people who really ring up, they just want to speak to somebody quickly to answer some of their questions. But do think if there's a better way that you can just share that information so they don't have to keep coming back to you. I know this sounds really basic, and it is, but a lot of people try and put clever IT in place. They have, like, let's put a chatbot on our website. Let's employ some more people to answer the phone calls, a virtual assistant. But actually, until you've done the analysis of working out why people are calling you, that may not be the best solution. So all I'm saying really is, before you spend money on a technical solution, make sure that you're actually understanding what the problem is you're trying to solve, and that the solution isn't frustrating your customers more than if you just made it easier for them to call you. Anyway, thanks very much, and let me know what you think in the comments, and have a check out my website, and I will speak to you soon. Cheers, bye-bye.